I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, my goodness, every time I see Sean Hannity, he looks more and more like Mo from the Three Stooges fucked a thumb. And you'd be right. But this is not your normal Sean Hannity there, you son. You know, this is sad Sean Hannity. This is upset fucking Sean Hannity of the Hannitys of Sean. Oh dear. Fucking fuckity fuck. Sean Hannity, this issue could haunt Republicans in 2024. Your face could haunt me in 2024. It probably will. Here we go.
First, we have more troubling news from the Middle East tonight. A $30 million U.S. Reaper drone was shot out over the sky over international airspace by Iranian-backed, you know, the Houthi rebels and terrorists in Yemen.
Rebels and terrorists. If you think they're terrorists, why would you call them rebels? Why'd you just say Houthi terrorists or just the Houthis? Why say rebels? Oh, because Daily Caller wrote it that way, and you just, like Anchorman, you just read what's in front of you. By the way, these are serious issues that are about to be discussed in this clip. I have no doubt. Or, you know, things like abortion, war, and that kind of stuff. I don't want you to get upset because I don't want you to think that this is actually a serious conversation about these things. What we're going to be talking about and discussing in terms of this clip and the entirety of the media structure around it is how blazingly ignorant and stupid and full of shit Sean Hannity is, and how he delivers that shit to his viewers.
Again, we must start out by asking your commander-in-chief, Joe Biden, Mr. President, what are you going to do about this?
Yes. Are you even going to show up at Andrews Air Force Base when they bring the dead drone in there draped in a flag? Oh, it was a drone. I see.
Meanwhile, we have U.S. soldiers.
By the way, do you think he knows? I don't think he does. Hold on one second. How is the U.S. going to respond? Let's see. This is, let's see. We'll just grab, what's a good one with a lot? There you go. What's he going to do about it? This, Sean. The Houthis don't have a bunch of those fucking things. We're not worried about them. They shot down it wasn't even a Predator drone. It was just a Reaper drone. It was just watching. Who gives a fuck? If they shot down over the fucking water. Also, I would like to say, I question whether it's actually gone. Again, Pentagon storylines, I take them with a grain of salt. Sometimes they like to pretend shit like this happened, and then that stuff does other things elsewhere. I'm just saying. But anyways, this was the response. U.S. carries out airstrikes in eastern Syria targeting IRGC and Iranian-backed groups' weapon storage facilities. 2 U.S. F-15 fighter jets conducted an airstrike on a weapon storage facility in eastern Syria. Man, I want to watch the new Top Gun again. I got it. Yeah. Used by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and affiliate groups, the Pentagon announced on Wednesday. This precision self-defense strike is a response to a series of attacks against U.S. personnel in Iraq and Syria by IRGC Quds Force affiliates. The president has no higher priority than the safety of U.S. personnel, and he directed today's action to make clear the United States will defend itself, its personnel, and its interests. We also, by the way, after the other hits, the 11 hits that they did, these like little fucking mini drones they were trying to fly and blow up and things and injure people. Yeah, we're basically emptying out Syria right now. We're using this as an excuse to just do airstrikes. And this is why. So and by the way, Sean knows this. Sean knows about these airstrikes. He's willfully ignoring these things so he doesn't have to balance it out.
Suffering yet another 2 attacks at bases in the Middle East today by other Iranian.
A drone attack targets Iraq's Hariri base. Siren sound at U.S. Embassy. Timur Azhari. Okay. So I'm sorry. One of the things, too, is that these drone attacks might be because we're doing things they don't like. If you want us to do things that I suppose, hold on. I suppose Sean's answer is that we do more things that the Iranians will like, so they stop doing this. It's the response that matters, not what you. Oh, by the way, just for the record, just saying the Biden administration has been pressuring Israel for these humanitarian pauses. Israel has agreed to them, and they don't like it, but we're making them. That's also happening. That's this story posted an hour ago. Fuck Sean Hannity. Anyways, here we go.
Iranian proxies, and so far there have been 42 attacks against our U.S. soldiers.
Dear God.
Carried out by Iranian-linked terrorists in the past month alone.
So what Sean Hannity wants us to do is nuke Iran.
Now, Joe's response was to take out 2 small empty warehouses, and just hours ago, apparently.
Oh, they're empty, Sean. How do you know they're empty? They're small empty warehouses. Have you been there? Were you on the phone with someone nearby when it happened? Do you know someone that stores weapons in the area?
Only another, quote, small retaliatory U.S. airstrike against whatever assets they hit in Syria. We'll find out sometime in the next day or two.
Nothing. Obviously, these were small empty warehouses. That's what you just told us, and I have no reason not to believe you.
That's it? Joe Biden he's not going to.
What are they going to do? Just murder a bunch of random strangers in another country? So the Houthis shoot down a drone, which is not a human being. It's a piece of gear, whatever. They're meant for that. And we blow up their weapons areas, which the idea that what do you think? They don't guard their weapons and their ammo? There's no people around that are going to die because of this. Secondly, what would you precisely want to do? So a small group of people fly, like I said, a drone into a base with a grenade attached, trying to do these like little like mini hits. So you want fighters to cross into Iranian territory and blow up a facility? Is that what you want? Fucking say it. I think that a proportional response and the destruction of their capabilities is smarter, because you don't tend to make more enemies that way, and they can't, even the people who are there and see the destruction can't blame you on a personal level for blowing up the weapons, because you're not blowing up like a village with fighters in it. You're just destroying the storage sites. And so it has value on what it destroys and what it doesn't destroy.
Take any substantial action to prevent further attacks against American troops abroad?
Yes, well, I think it's a little hard to attack if you have nothing to attack with. So hence, hitting the actual ammo is a big part of that. Also, name it, man. Stop being such a fucking wuss. Call it out, Sean Hannity, tough guy. Who do you want him to kill? Who do you want him to murder? Bring it up. So do we hit a civilian site? I mean, he's hitting military sites inside these countries. So what do you want to do? Have him hit a village inside Iran? Just, yeah? Call it out. I mean, I want to hear it. You guys want to hear it? Good Lord.
Is he going to just, keep on bombing empty warehouses? Because think about this.
No, he's going to bomb ammo storage facilities and weapon storage facilities. And where the fuck are you getting this empty warehouse shit? Because this sounds like propaganda, my bro.
If China, they have all these hostile actions against American fighters.
Thank you, Lucky. It is true. We have a lot of members in here tonight. I appreciate that. Thank you. And Georgina says, riding with Biden 2024. Thank you. Also, Venmo and Super Chats and stuff. And thank you guys for the likes and stuff. Look at you lovely people. Look at this. Look at that. Way to like the stream. Come on.
Jets.
Yeah, Sean doesn't just want people to die. Sean wants strangers far away from the site of this shit happening to die, so that more people can continue to cascade die through this. And he can't even name the fucking place.
In international airspace, no response. China takes hostile actions against our Navy in international waters. Well, Joe gives no response. China's spy balloon, what happened? It got to fly eight days over our country, over our military installations. No response.
No, we watched it, we blocked it, and then we shot it down when it was over the water in case it was filled with a with COVID-21.
China's hostile actions over Taiwan and their airspace, no response.
We sent in more Marines and we have given them more military aid. What do you think the AUKUS agreement was about, dumbass? Why do you think Japan joined it? No response. What do you want him to do? You want him to put a flag sticking out of the water on top of all of our nuclear submarines that are doing laps around Taiwan, you dumb motherfucker?
Russia shoots down our drones, no response.
Our drone was in a war zone over their territorial waters in the Black Sea. It drifted over in their area and they shot it down because they're paranoid assholes. Yeah, what's the response, dummy? What's the response? And by the way, there has been a response. We gave more aid to Ukraine, and Ukraine is kicking their ass.
Is it because Joe wants more, what, financial business deals with China and Russia?
Asshole, no one wants more deals with China and Russia right now. No one.
That he won't take action against these hostiles?
It's a good thought. Why don't they do it? Also, I look, I appreciate the oldies but a goodie ones, and I have to say, like, the fact that 4 of these fucking balloons flew over the United States during Trump doesn't seem to bother you at all, and he did nothing. And he took $15 million out of a Chinese bank account that he had over there while he was fucking president. And while Biden's been president, China's economy has been taking a giant shit. And Russia's also fucked. You know what? Maybe this is all part of the Biden fire sale. That's what he's going to do. He's going to make money in China and Russia after they've been reduced to rubble.
Regimes? Or is he just a pathetically weak U.S. president? We'll let you answer. Now, meanwhile, back at home, anti-Semitism, it is exploding. I never thought I'd see this in our lifetime. Did anyone ever think this?
Did anybody ever think that? Did I do this? I mean, there was sort of some harbingers of it when, Kanye brought that dude to lunch with Trump. I don't feel like saying his name. And they hung out,
Never thought I would see this in our lifetime, including in the halls of Congress. This as Jewish Americans are now still being held hostage by terrorists in a war zone. And by the way, Joe, why are you not demanding the release of all of these hostages, including Americans that are being held hostage?
Because you got to negotiate for their release, not demand them, because they will cut their heads off just to say fuck you. They are being held by people who plan to die soon. You have no bully leverage in this situation, fuckwad. None. And by the way, if you want to get them killed, that's one of the best ways to do it. You release those people right fucking now, or you're done. Like, okay, well, we're done anyways. Fuck you. Allah Akbar, boom.
Hostage. Where is your president tonight? I'm sure he's sleeping. I'm sure he doesn't know that today is Wednesday. And as anti-American sentiment is on the rise and the threat of terrorism is now spiking, is Joe Biden going to do anything to secure our southern border? Is he going to do anything at all? Because we now know the Department of Homeland Security, there's Alejandro Mayorkas.
There he is, the guy with the fucking foreign-sounding name. You can't have a fucking border run by a guy with a foreign-sounding name like Mayorkas.
Mayorkas testified today. He has no idea at all how many illegal immigrants are currently in our country, or where they're from, or why they're here.
Nobody does. It's an unknowable. There's no hard number. There's a ballpark 11 million figure that's been around since the fucking 80s.
We know what?
We know a bunch of them work at Mar-a-Lago. We know a bunch of them work at Doral.
Thousands from countries like Iran, Syria, other places in the Middle East.
Yeah, Qatar. Azerbaijan, I don't understand.
Russia, China. Joe has let in almost 8 million illegal immigrants. It may be 10 million by the end of the year.
No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. I mean, you know what? Let him keep the number. I'll tell you what. Fuck it. I'm tired of arguing it. It's ridiculous. But let's go with, I'm going to go with Trump's number. 15, 20 million. 25 million illegal immigrants crossing the border, living in and amongst us and around us, and most of them fucking gainfully employed like assholes.
This is insanity.
Well, I mean, it's your show. Yeah.
And it's just another horrible, chaotic day under President Joe Biden. But according
horrible, chaotic day. Yeah. First of all, Sean couldn't find his tie. It looked everywhere. All they had was non-dairy creamer, the powdery stuff, which is fine for the staff, but not for Sean. And then have you seen his audience that they got today? This is terrible. He can't even find real fans. They have to hand stuff out in Times Square to get people in there. And it's like 30 seats. It shouldn't be hard. But he doesn't have any friends. And
to last night's election results, Americans seem pretty unfazed, at least on the surface.
Yes, unfazed. Americans seem to like what Biden is doing, and Democrats, and think Republicans are full of shit and don't know how to do their job.
We're going to break all of this down. Let's start in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Yeah.
Where state Democrats were able to hold on to a slim majority in the Senate there.
Spin much?
And pick up a slim majority in the House of Delegates.
So they basically neutered Youngkin.
Now, some are trying to blame Governor Glenn Youngkin.
No. I just don't. It's not that you blame him. It's that he can't win.
And his expansive get out the vote effort. Here's the reality.
Why would they blame him for his expansive get out? Because more Democrats voted. The more you get out the vote, the more people vote, the more Democrats vote, because there are more Democrats than I see.
Virginia, whether you want to believe it or not,
I don't believe it.
I had given up on Virginia years ago. It is a blue state. It's not even a purple state. The anomaly in Virginia happened 2 years ago when Glenn Youngkin won the governorship there. And he deserves a ton of credit for trying as hard as.
Yeah, you know, look, he was born to lose, and he took over a state that doesn't even like him, and they just, fucked around and found out. By the way, yes, Carl Frisch, one school board chair. Thank you guys for that donated, by the way, for the fundraiser that I did for him that we live streamed. That was lovely and very helpful, and we're very proud of him, and it's lovely. Yeah, but the idea is that. The argument seems to be here from Sean Hannity that this was a losing proposition to start with.
He did to flip both houses. And as the federal government, by the way, is expanding at a rapid pace, hordes of government workers, the vast majority, 90+%, Democrat, relocating just south of D.C. into Northern Virginia, where taxes are low, schools are better, and crime is relatively low.
No. Asshole, they also moved to Maryland just over the border, too. It's suburbs. D.C. is in Virginia, for fuck's sake. It's just separated out.
And unfortunately, the vast majority of government workers, they're Democrats, so are most of the employees.
Yeah, there's a thread line between Democrats and people who want government to work.
At the NGOs, the law firms, and other groups associated with the government. So Virginia was close because of Youngkin's popularity. It's a blue state, in spite of what the media is telling. What a huge victory. This is bad for Glenn Youngkin. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Basically, you have a bunch of voters that experimented with the idea of leaning the state red and went, take it back, fuck it.
The fact that Glenn Youngkin won, frankly, is a miracle. The fact that he won by the large margin he did was another miracle.
It's almost as if there was voter fraud, and Donald Trump made sure of it, and it leaned red, and he still lost. I mean, honestly, that kind of thing doesn't happen.
Shows what the failure of Democrats can do. Can awaken people, at least temporarily.
Temporarily, yeah. And then what's the excuse the other way around? The failure of Republicans awakens Democrats permanently because it was blue before and it'll go back to being blue?
Anyway, but once again, we do have to talk about the issue of abortion. It was a
we do.
Major issue yesterday. And I do believe deeply in the sanctity of life. I'm pro-life. I'm very open about it. But I also recognize a political truth and reality, and that.
Yeah, that, you know what? Fuck these babies. Even though I think they're living things, and I really, really believe that, you got to win some offices, and it's not a winning thing. So I will, instead of standing by my convictions, I would rather win a Republican majority so we can get those fucking tax breaks, bitches. That's what we want.
That is that the majority of the American people, as I have been saying for years, people said yesterday, Sean Hannity finally admitted. No, Sean Hannity's been saying it for years.
Don't talk about yourself in the third person. Hal Sparks hates that.
That now the consensus in this country, a few years now I've been saying, Americans reject the most restrictive abortion laws. They just do.
Yeah, they also reject any abortion laws put forward by the right because they're lying about even the tepid ones, and eventually they want to come for contraception as well because this is about controlling women. It has nothing to do with the sanctity of life.
Now,
or you motherfuckers would be against the death penalty, for shit's sake.
Okay, so people can disagree with me.
Yes, many people do. People who think you should have worn a tie. You're getting a little Jim Jordan there, Sean, and you've got the little wisp in your hair up there, and it's distracting. I think everybody knows you took a nap in your office before the show tonight, and you're just not yourself.
But now they especially reject it if these restrictions target early pregnancies under 15 weeks. That's the political reality.
Yeah. That's a big part of it. Yes, during the part where most women have abortions, where you go after them so they can't have any abortions. It's weird that they really respond to that.
I'm not giving you my personal view. I'm telling you where the consensus of the country is.
Yeah, I'm telling you that America is evil, and we can't stop it. So if you can't abort them, join them.
Even in the state of Ohio, a very red state now. 57% of voters there approved a measure adding abortion rights to the state constitution.
Look at the crumple of his fucking face. To the Constitution? So, gee, Mr. Withers, all we were trying to do was make some bacon sandwiches, and we spilled the grease on the floor and the cabin burned down. I blame Petey. Right, Buckwheat? All right.
And Democrats now are using abortion as a political weapon.
No. No, we're not. We just actually believe women should have the right to make those decisions. And that left to make those decisions, most of them, I would argue all of them, will make the decision within a humane window in the early part of it, or only if they have to not die if it's later. We just don't think of women as these fucking evil monsters that you do that will stab knitting needles into their fucking bellies rather than carry a baby to term for no fucking reason other than they're just tired of it in month 8. The fuck out of here.
Not only do they accuse Republicans every 2 and 4 years of being racist, sexist, misogynist.
Well, no, we don't. That's not fair. We don't accuse you of it. We point out when you are.
Homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic.
And by the way, I don't think you're homophobic. I think you're a bigot.
Homophobic, wanting dirty air, wanting dirty water. And
that might be true, though. I mean, I certainly know Trump has his own issues with that.
Don't touch my hands because they're dirty.
Wanting to kill grandma and grandpa. Now they're saying that Republicans will end all abortion.
No, we don't think you want to kill them. We think you don't care if they die. Yeah, I think there's a distinction. I don't think it's murder one. I think it's depraved indifference. I'd go with second-degree manslaughter.
Which is a lie. And the problem has been Republicans have not countered that false narrative and that lie. Now, but
that's because it's not a lie, and they have nothing to counter with because they actually want to go further. And by the way, if they even try to moderate their position, if they really did feel that way, their own base, which wants them to go further and is totally out of step, will kill them. They'll fucking not, they won't reelect them. They won't even get the moderating steps they want.
By the way, this even played a pretty big role in deep red Kentucky, where a very popular Democratic governor who totally distanced himself from Joe Biden.
No, he just ran with him on infrastructure.
Painted his opponent, Daniel Cameron, as a heartless anti-woman zealot.
Well, he didn't paint him as that. He just kind of pointed at him and said, these traits that he's showing you amount to a heartless anti-woman zealot. And I think he would agree. I think he would use different language than I do to describe it, but that's what he is.
Republicans need to spend dollar for dollar every lie the Democrats tell. You must fight back with ads telling people the truth.
That's right. Tell them you don't want to stop women from having abortions. You only want the 15-week thing, and you will sign a contract with America that says you're not coming after contraception. You don't believe in, if a woman who has an ectopic pregnancy or is in danger of losing her life, you don't believe in forcing her to carry that to term. You don't believe in forcing couples with a non-viable fetus to watch the mother give birth to it, sit there and watch it suffocate for 10 minutes when they knew 8 weeks ago or 10 weeks ago that it was not going to be able to live, and they could have had a therapeutic abortion and saved themselves the grief. They got to make them buy a little car. You'll sign a contract that says you will not do that. And you run that at the beginning of all your ads when you're running for office next time and say, I'm Jerkwater Jenkins and I approve this message.
Over the past 2 election cycles, Republicans rarely responded to any of these attacks.
Because if they did, they either had to admit the attacks were true, or they had to risk losing their voter base.
Especially on abortion, they need to start responding.
Yeah, start responding. Tell them how you don't give a shit about abortion. You're fine with whatever the consensus is. See how well that works out in the primary.
But tonight, it is clear they must fight back. They need a coherent strategy to counter the abortion narrative or the abortion lie.
Okay, the problem you have is that you can't counter the narrative and quote unquote the lie if you're trying to implement the policy. There is no counter to this narrative.
Or this issue will haunt them.
Oh, it's going to.
In 2024 and beyond.
And beyond.
Republicans also need to buy into early voting and
they don't, not with Trump at the top of the ticket.
Legal ballot harvesting.
And what? Sorry, and legal ballot harvesting?
They can't show up on Election Day down by hundreds of thousands of votes and expect to win.
Yes, they also can't, weeks after the election, be down by hundreds of thousands of votes and still expect to win, and that expectation drives them to attack the fucking Capitol.
In a perfect world, there would be just one Election Day. We'll make it a national holiday.
Oh, hey, look at that. Accidental progress. What was that, Sean Hannity? What'd you say? A national holiday? What did you do? There you go. Now, way to counter the narrative. Now, tell you what, bring on Chip Roy or any of the Freedom Caucus or any of those folks and talk to them, have them buy into this national holiday business. I'm for it. Fucking call it George Washington Day, motherfuckers. The dude who got in office and then after he was president refused to stay on because he didn't want to be a king. And you just, call it Washington Day, you dumbass. I'm for it. And then while you're at it, pass a law that guarantees every American an ID. Yeah, a national ID that's good for voting. It's got your picture on it. Maybe even stores your thumbprint. And if anybody tries to use it, it's a federal offense. So nobody can steal it from you and use it to steal your identity and all kinds of shit. And it's great. And it's got your Social Security information on it. So if you ever need to get Social Security benefits, you just run the fucking thing, and you're the only one who can get a copy of it. And the minute if you lose it or anything happens to it, or destroyed in a fire, you can go get another one immediately. They print it for you right there, using your thumbprint, your eye scan or some shit, and then you get it and you can live your life with it. You don't need a state ID or a driver's license or anything else. And you can use it to vote, and it's really you. And what? It's the mark of the beast. And Revelation says that you can't buy or sell anything without my mark, and that's what a government ID would be. Okay. And you can't make it a national holiday. Why? Because of the loss of business revenue. I see. Well, aren't businesses supposed to give people time off to go vote? Yeah.
Ballots, voter ID, signature verification.
Signature verification.
Chain of custody controls, updated voter rolls, partisan observers watching the vote and watching the vote counting. And if we had all of that, guess what? We would add integrity to our election system. And
we already have integrity. We have people trying to push in anti-integrity narrative. You'll like that word. To excuse themselves from losing because they don't have the testicular or ovarian fortitude to admit when they win or lose legitimately.
Everybody can have confidence in the result of elections. That is,
we're good.
is not the world that we're living in.
No, that's not the world you're living in. You're in a weird little bubble. You're a silly, silly person.
And by the way, Republicans that have been reluctant and resistant to voting early and by mail, they need to adapt. They need to organize.
So fuck Donald Trump. Okay, you should write him a letter.
And they need to beat Democrats at their own game. Hey.
Yeah, the problem is you need more Republicans to actually do that. Because if you try to beat us at our own game, our game is, I guess, outpopulating you? Yeah? What a jackass. Ugh.